to come to the festival for the first time. And I'm his... What? Anyhow, well, Richard, does this sound right to you?
It sounds okay, but I heard like gunshots.
Well, as most of you probably realize, this is a really big year for me because my book finally, after 6 years, my second novel, has been released. And the reception has been so great that I think maybe there will be finally a series of Dark Shadows novels, because now I feel responsible to keep the stories going until someone puts the series back on the air. I think that writing a first novel is pretty easy. You just kind of sit down and it's just kind of an bubbling and outpouring of all of your passions and your entire life and everything you've always wanted to say, and then you said it. And you have a second novel, and there's just a big empty well. Where is it supposed to come from?
I think the best thing are questions. But you guys are about ready to ask those questions. Forget about what you were going to ask and ask something with a little meat on the bone.
You got that? It's up to you, sir. It's up to you. You're the first one to ask a meaty question on the bone.
That's not true, but thank you. Thank you.
John, you're my favorite character, and when you do Carl, you guys are such great actors. I just started watching this like a year ago.
Did you say the word straight?
That's
my favorite.
Oh, I couldn't see.
Yeah, I mean, I just really great actors.
Thank you, darling. I wish to God, can't we bring them, you lovely people, closer? Closer.
That was my goal.
I was also curious as to why you made Angelique Josette's half-sister.
I love you, dear, but I don't know what you're saying.
You know what? I'll tell you what, why don't you come over and ask me the question.
You do it, okay, good. Come on.
This is great. Right up the front. Yes, sir.
Okay, so meanwhile, you ask the question, young man, and then I'll get the question from this gentleman. But you ask yours now, okay? Go ahead, speak.
Okay, Laura, I know you're like 50, 60 years old now, but do you think you can still do that evil laugh?
So Jim made it possible for me to go over and see Dan only a couple weeks before he died. And it was especially wonderful for me because it happened to be an afternoon when Dan was feeling pretty good. And it was the first time that he had taken a walk in the garden for a long time. And Dan and I were able to sit in the garden in the sunshine and page through the book that Jim Pearson put together about Dan's career. And we also looked through one of the Dark Shadows books that I wrote, Dark Shadows Memories. And it was really wonderful because sitting there in the sunshine, turning the pages, Dan would point to a picture and nod, and I knew it was bringing back memories for him. I'm just so glad that we did that book. I'm so glad that we had the tribute at the Television Academy to honor Dan on his 75th birthday.
Thank you very much, Catherine. Hello, everybody, and welcome to another event. And we're all here because of one man, and that was Dan Curtis. And the first time, everyone knows the story, but the first time I met Dan, I went into his office, you know, and he had a green rug, and he was a golfer. I did a scene for him, but before I did the scene, I had to go around and pick up the golf balls. didn't know what Dark Shadows was. It had been on for a while. I had never seen it. And for whatever reason, he took a liking to me. And occasionally he would drive me home to my apartment, which was only like 20 blocks from the studio. Dan Curtis had sometimes could have a rather gruff exterior, but he was had a warm heart and was a sentimental man and loved his family and loved the actors. I don't think he ever did a show.
It's very difficult for all of us because none of you really knew anything about this gentleman who created Dark Shadows but never showed up, right? So as we're speaking here today, you must forgive us for this memorial to Danny Boy, you know, who had, boy, did he have a lot of sides to him, Dan Curtis, a lot of sides. He was a close personal friend of mine for many, many years. His wife, my ex-wife, and Norma, we'd all go to supper like at least maybe once every 3 weeks for years and years and years. And he was a close friend, and he put me in 12, 13, Jimmy would know, 14 movies of the week after Dark Shadows. I don't think anybody else ever worked for him. Did you guys ever work for him again? You worked a couple of times? You did? Good. Well, not as many as me. I think I worked more for him than all of you put together. If he would or wouldn't? Why not? You probably, I know why he wouldn't hire you. Money. Right? Yes. Okay. You know, he got us for a pittance at the beginning, which is fine. All these young people were starting, and that was good. And all of them were very happy to be working. That was good. And Danny Boy, but he was great on this set. And I'll tell you why he was great on this set. I did 15, and then the Dark Shadow things, the movies, and with him, I never got a note, never got one stinking note from Dan Curtis. He let his actors do the job. I don't know if it was the same for them, but I think it was. Wasn't it, darling? Yes. There it goes. So anyway, here's love and kisses to Dan Curtis, who you guys never got a chance to know because he never showed up. And I don't know how much interest you can be taking in this, but not too much. So take it from me, it would be hard to figure out Dan Curtis. It really, truly would. But I like him. Thank you.
Two of the best memories of Dan Curtis. And one was the first time I met him, and the other was the last time I saw him. And what happened at my first meeting was that there was a casting director who sent me for my first role on Dark Shadows. And only because I had a very persistent agent, I was able to get the audition because the casting director kept saying to me, "You're not right for the role. And don't feel badly when you go into the office and you meet Dan Curtis. He'll have, as David said, this green rug, and he'll probably be putting a golf ball, and he'll probably be very curt and dismiss you immediately because you're just not right for the part." Well, I went in and met this most gracious man who was so kind to me, so helpful to an actor, and I had like a half-hour audition with him, and it was, of course, it turned out that I got the role, and it was just wonderful.
I'm not really an extemporaneous speaker, so I'll make this brief. Actually, that's why I became an actor, to have somebody write the lines for me. You'll remember David Ford. He was a big, rough guy, loud voice, irreverent, like Johnny Carlin. Maybe even more so. Dark Shadows at the time, and I had never even heard of the show. And David said something to me, if I could paraphrase. He says, "Yeah, we're doing this soap opera." He said it was just about ready to go down the tubes, and they brought in this goddamn vampire, and now we're a big hit. And after he finished his play, his production, in that theater. He went back to New York, and I went on to another summer stock theater. And after a couple of months, I got a message saying that Dan Curtis wanted to see me in New York. So I made arrangements to get to New York quickly. The next day I had to take the train from Pennsylvania, and I had to get back that night for another performance. So I didn't have much time. I was expecting to read for the show, and but I hadn't been given a script. I didn't know what I was going to read. And I got to the offices, and I was put in a waiting room. And inside the door is a big room, a big waiting room. I was the only person in it. I was very nervous, and I heard these loud voices coming from inside this door. Well, David Ford had a big, loud voice, and as I found out later, so did Dan Curtis. And I didn't know what was going on in there. And I waited, and it went on. And finally, the door burst open, and Dan Curtis walked out, and he strided over to me, and he said, "Are you Jerry?" And I said, "Yeah." And he said, "Can you start to work a week from Monday?" And I said, "Yeah." And he says, "Good, I'll see you then." And that's how I got the job. I didn't have to do a scene or anything like David did. I don't know why. I guess David Ford must have given me a very good recommendation. But that gives you an idea of how Dan Curtis made up his mind. He made it up right now, and he stuck to it. And I think that that held him in good stead all through his career. He was a very positive man. Thank you.
But somewhere in the afterglow, love lives on and on. Shadows of the night, echo of the past, calling you to me. For 5 years, my identity was somewhat confused with the characters I played on Dark Shadows. In fact, my life became something of a dream. Dark Shadows itself was born of a dream, you know. Dan Curtis had a dream one night, and that dream became a show. But for me, Dark Shadows is much more than a dream. It was a wish come true. After all, it gave me 5 years, not only of working, but of playing 8 different characters. I understood Carolyn Collins Stoddard from the first moment I saw her at the Blue Whale, flinging her very long, very blonde hair about in the middle of the dance floor. I come home in the morning light, although I know Collins Court is not safe at night. I'll take a chance to dance till I see the sun. These girls, they wanna have fun. Oh yeah, girls just wanna have fun. I'm secure in the upper crust. Why should I sit around and see myself rust? I'll be a rebel till my victory is won. Till then, I wanna have fun. Oh yeah, I just wanna have, that's all I really want. Some fun. Well, imagine what it's like living at Collinsport, where a ray of sun never shines. We are seriously wealthy, yet we have no television, no radio, not even a record player. My only friend is a really boring governess we had to hire because the smartest person in the family is a 10-year-old kid. I do have a semi-hot boyfriend with no money. His name is Joe. How exciting is that? So I'm rich, a fun-loving girl. I try to behave like most perfect girl. I want more, I want to be number one. Till then, I want to have fun. you say? I just wanna have fun! Yes! I wanna dance with you. I'll be so close to you. In your arms I'll always stay. Our hearts will beat to the rhythm of our love. It's always been said that life is a song, so why don't we both just dance along, around and along, together we do. Oh, I wanna dance with you. How can they see with sequins in their eyes? What if your hinges all are rusting? What if, in fact, you're just disgusting? Razzle-dazzle 'em, and they'll never catch flies. Give 'em the old razzle-dazzle, razzle-dazzle 'em. Give 'em a show that's so splendiferous, row after row will grow vociferous. Give 'em the old flim-flam flummox, fool and fracture 'em. How can they hear the truth above the roar? Throw 'em a fake and finagle, they'll never know you're just a bagel. Razzle-dazzle 'em, and they'll beg you for more. Ready? Set.
Ma, for the last time, Shady Pines was a perfectly wonderful retirement home.
I'm telling you, Dorothy, they used to free-sell our bodies to medical schools. That was the big joke. How would you like to go to college?
Ma, you keep a king-size crucifix, and in your purse. Who do you think you are, Mel Gibson?
Uses a purse?
Look! Stay away from me! Senile, am I? That's where you're wrong, you ungrateful wretch! Grateful wretch? I want to be grateful for you. You tell me that! Oh, what if I was? I got nothing. What's enough for me? You don't have nothing because you are nothing! Yes, I love Quinn, but you know why? He's 10 times the man you are! You've done nothing but begging self-pity ever since you sent me that wheelchair! You did it to make other people feel sorry for you so you can have your own way! You know what Quinn would have done if he had that action instead of you? He would have walked thoroughface to the dead he was nothing. That's why you've never had it, and you never will have it! You're just a weakling and a coward! That's enough! I need this! Walk. I've been able to walk for years! You're even worse than fuck! I've been able to walk for years, Father. For years I've been ready to get back and quit it! And you... quit it! You did it! You! Hey, Father. I killed Randall. You know Quinn's gonna pay for it. You're not gonna win that. Do it, yes! Not now! Wherever you are!
for 13. Sold for 13.
Maybe it's Nina.
You don't...
There's a line behind you, ladies.
I know. We're moving along.
You can move along.
Okay, can we get our sign then?
Because I'm getting chilly again.
Sebastian Shaw is taking Maggie Evans to Wycliffe. And what I want to know is, how the heck did they get the car into the studio?
Oh, it's the magic of television. That car consisted of, I don't even think there was a windscreen. It was like a half a car. And everything was dark around it, obviously, so that they wouldn't have to build a set. I think I was driven to Wycliffe in the dead of night. So it's totally dark, and then they had fans.